Hello and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Brent Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick'em plays for, oh God, what day is it? Wednesday. It's July 23rd. God, it's hard to know the days as we are in these doldrums, the dog days of baseball season. But Wednesday, July 23rd, Underdog Picks, new to Underdog Fantasy. Sound promo code Daily Dog. Get a deposit match bonus with the promo code Daily Dog. Friends don't let friends. Sign up with worse promo codes than the one you can get right here on SGPN's The Daily Dog. All right, let's look back quickly at yesterday. Went 2 out of 4 on our MLB two-leggers, 2-entry pick slips, which is pretty dang good. I'm happy to do that. Let's do that every day, and I will retire happy. As you know, most of the bankroll goes into those top 6 entries on the show every day, which is the pitcher combos and the MLB two-leg entries, but really, me personally, most of it is on those top 4. And then, second tier is the pitchers. Then WNBA tennis is kind of a little bit of small fries, and then it's tiny fries for the Lotto and the Dong squads. But it is what it is. If you've been following the show for a while, we have a high volume here. You got to be responsible with your bankroll. You can't be going, you can't be risking everything you got every single day, because there are some dry days and there's some high highs when we hit 5-6 entries on a day. So you got to just keep it smart and make sure that you're ready you got the funds available on those good days and you're not blowing it on those bad days. And yesterday was a good day. As I said, those 2 baseball entries came home. One of our tennis entries came home, and one of our tennis entries got refunded because ultimately Holger Rune did not play yesterday for some reason. But man, how about Venus Williams waiting in straight sets? My goodness. But more on that later. Let's get into today's entry. We're going back to MLB. We're going back to Coors Field. We're going back to Ezequiel Tovar, 3rd day in a row, higher than 1.5 total bases. Hit it for us yesterday. I think he can do it again here against Andre Palante and the Cardinals. He is a good base runner, a good hitter. He's Coors Field. He's one of this team's probably left 5 wins on the table just because of all the time that he's lost. And I mean, it's 5 wins for this team. They would still be terrible. But given how hard wins are to come by for this team, Tovar is a big part of this squad. Tovar is just a guy when he's in the entry or when he's in the lineup, when he's healthy, we got to take advantage of it and we got to use him. So Ezequiel Tovar higher than 1.5 total bases at home in Coors Field. Pairing that with Jose Ramirez against Zach Eflin and the Orioles, higher than 0.5 RBIs. Jose Ramirez, obviously very good on any given day. He's been hot lately. Let's keep that rolling. Higher than 0.5 RBIs for Jose Ramirez. That with Ezequiel Tovar, higher than 1.5 total bases, a 3.33x multiplier. MLB entry number 2, we are going to go with Yandy Diaz, higher than 7.5 fantasy points for the Rays against the White Sox. Jonathan Cannon isn't a bad pitcher. I'm not going to act like he's something to scoff at. He's actually been pretty good for the White Sox this year. But again, I think that there's been some good baseball played by the White Sox lately, and I think that it has a shelf life that is about to expire. So I am going to be taking Yandy Diaz higher than 7.5 fantasy points in this game. You're going to pair that with Alex Bregman, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, working his way back, going against Jesus Luzardo, the lefty versus righty. I like that. I like Bregman in this lineup for the Red Sox. They're a much better team with him there. So give me him higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's a 3x multiplier. MLB number 3, Jordan Westburg. We're going to the other side of this Orioles game against the Guardians. I'm going to be taking Jordan Westburg higher than 0.5 RBIs against Slade Cecconi and the Guardians. I don't think Slade is all that great. I think Westburg bats in a good point in this lineup to get some runs, given the guys that are usually ahead of him that are good at running base. Pairing that with Bryan Reynolds, who's been on fire, higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It's a 4.01x multiplier. And again, Bryan Reynolds has been great for the Pirates in the last couple games. They've got a young pitcher on the Tigers today, Troy Melton, born in the year 2000. It's not exactly a tough start, but making your first major league start is always a tough task, and especially when you got a crazy switch hitter like Bryan Reynolds out there. That is a 4.01x multiplier, as I said. Let's go to MLB entry number 4. Freddie Freeman, higher than 0.5 RBIs. Dodgers have been scoring runs. They just haven't been winning games. But again, Chris Paddock, he is a guy that should get his butt kicked by the Dodgers. I'm going to assume that's going to happen. Give me Tyler Glass now higher, or sorry, give me Freddie Freeman higher than 0.5 RBIs. Pair that with Nick Castellanos higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That is a 3.54x multiplier. I like Castellanos because they're going against Lucas Giolito in the Red Sox. Giolito, 4 earned in his last start. He had been peaking a little bit, for several starts before that, but I think the blow up spots are going to come more and more often as we get closer to the back quarter of the season here for an older pitcher in his 30s, Lucas Giolito. So as I said, Freddie Freeman higher than 0.5 RBIs, Castellanos higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, 3.54x multiplier. Pitchers entry number 1, we're going to go with Nick Lodolo, Michael Soroka higher than 0.5. First inning runs allowed in that Reds Nationals game. Just 2 pitchers I don't trust as far as I can throw. And two offenses that can get started early. Then we're going to go with Lucas Giolito, Jesus Luzardo, lower than 0.5 first inning runs allowed. I know I was just kind of crapping on Giolito, but I think he can give at least 3 good outs. And Jesus Luzardo, again, I think he can get 3 good outs as well, lower 0.5. That's a 2.87x multiplier. Then we are going to go with Dylan Cease, Sandy Alcantara, higher than 0.5 first inning runs allowed. Dylan Cease is so hot and cold, and I think the top of the Marlins lineup is extremely dangerous, more dangerous than people realize because they have a lot of guys who get on base. Getting on base is half the battle. A lot of teams only want the homers. Not the case with the Marlins. And then Sandy Alcantara, he's gotten the thing back on track, but that doesn't mean he can't give up a first inning homer. Jonathan Cannon, Taj Bradley lowered 0.5 first inning runs allowed. Again, I think that we get 3 good outs out of both these guys. That's a 3x multiplier. Tennis entry number 1, we're going Damir Zumher higher than 22.5 games played against Stan Wawrinka in Umag clay court tournament. Clay obviously goes longer. Damir Zumher is having the season of his career, it feels like. Wawrinka is obviously way over the hill. He's far cry from, being a slam finalist and everything else. But on clay, he can still drag things out. I have a feeling that this thing's going 3 sets, so that's why I like higher than 22.5 games played in Damir Zumher against Stan Wawrinka. Then in Washington, Yoshida Nishioka lower than 0.5 sets won against Flavio Cavoli. Nishioka had a good game or a good match last one. Those have been few and far between for this guy. He's just not been fit. I don't know if he's going to have enough gas in the tank to go with a guy like Flavio Cavoli, who is a very athletic player. He's an Italian, but he can play on more than just clay. I think he gets steamrolled by Cavoli here. So Zumher higher than 22.5 games played. Nishioka lower than 0.5 sets won, 3.51x multiplier. Tennis number 2, Alina Rybakina higher than 21.5 games played against Mboko. Mboko is a really strong server, as is Alina Rybakina. Tie breaks could potentially be here, but also I think Mboko is going to win a set. So, I play it more conservative by just saying higher than 21.5 games played instead of taking the Mboko set angle. But because I think that there could get there, this could be a 2-set match, but it could be 7-5, 6-4, and we're there. So give me Rybakina higher than 21.5 games played against Mboko, and then Emma Navarro higher than 21.5 games played against Maria Sakkari. Maybe Sakkari has found something. Navarro and Sakkari, not a lot of power. These women are going to break each other a million times. I think these sets are going to go pretty long. So I'm going to take 21.5 games played higher for both Emma Navarro and Alina Rybakina. That's a 3x multiplier. All right, so let's dig into these Lotto entries. I'm going Ellie De La Cruz higher than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs against Michael Soroka and the Nationals. Soroka just kind of stinks. Is that rude to say? But I think that Ellie is going to get a hit. Someone will be on base, and then someone's going to drive him home because he's probably going to steal a base as well. So higher than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for Ellie De La Cruz. Dylan Cease higher than 2.5 earned runs allowed. I'm telling you, don't sleep on this Marlins offense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Marlins won this game, to be honest. The only issue is that Sandy has struggled with holding the other team less than 4 runs scored, which is a tough spot. I mean, the offense for the Padres ain't great. So, you can consider that, I guess, as a factor. But then I'm going to go with Bo. Sorry, I don't know why I totally got off track there. Dylan Cease higher than 2.5 earned runs allowed. I don't know. I was talking about Sandy. Then Bo Bichette higher than 0.5 RBIs for the for the Blue Jays. Bichette's been a little deeper in the order, so there's more guys on, more chances for him to get RBIs. Wilson Contreras higher than 0.5 RBIs out at Coors Field. 20.11x multiplier flex at 12.06x or 2.74x if it goes 3 out of 4. Dong Squad number 1 does not take much introduction. Sorry. Aaron Judge higher than 0.5 home runs. Trevor Story higher than 0.5 home runs. Pete Crow Armstrong higher than 0.5 home runs. 56.53x or 28.26x if you flex it. 2 out of 3 on the flex is 5.57x. Dong Squad number 2, Miguel Vargas, higher than 0.5 home runs, very underrated home run hitter. Juan Soto, after getting walked 3 times yesterday, higher than 0.5 home runs today. Ronald Acuna Jr., higher than 0.5 home runs for the Braves. 132.69x, very nice number. Or 66.34x if you flex it. I recommend flexing it. If it goes 2 out of 3, 8.63x. All right, that's all I got for you today. Good luck on your picks, and let's make some money.